Terrifying mermaid footage caught on camera is scattering the scientific world tonight. Because nothing in any textbook explains creatures shaped like this. Creatures fishermen pulled aboard while the ocean roared as if warning them to stop. Why do their bones bend like human joints, yet their skin matches deep sea predators? How can something breathe in two worlds at once? And if these beings truly shouldn't exist, then why are they appearing now in storms, in nets, in places no one ever reported before? If these are the ones we managed to catch, the once, what monsters are still watching from below? Keep watching to find out the creature beneath. Maybe the strangest part of this Red Sea survey in 2021 wasn't the silence on the diver's radio, but the way the camera trembled as if it already knew something was wrong. Sand ripples backward. A shadow folds itself open. The reef seems to recoil like a startled animal. Then the figure drags forward, skin mottled like storm-beaten limestone, arms twisting in a snap that feels less like movement and more like a warning shot from a territory older than any map we trust. And its face, half human and half abyss, tightens as if anger were a language shaped by pressure alone. What happens to our scientific certainty when the deep finally pushes back? The next footage doesn't wait for belief. When they strike back, the following footage caught on camera during a routine submersible descent begins with a dull thud that scientists first misread as loose equipment. Another hit follows, then another. Three shapes surge forward, jaws split wide, eyes locked with a terrifying clarity that felt almost confrontational. Music, as if the world itself pressed its face against the window. They scrape at the glass. They snarl without water distortion. Their movements sync like a hunting unit that has filmed us far longer than we have scanned them, mocking our belief that no one watches from below. And when one creature bears rows of teeth arranged like shattered porcelain, a single thought surfaces. What law of nature threatens to rewrite itself when something in the deep decides to answer back? The next recording doesn't just continue, it escalates. The drowned face. The footage recovered from a fisherman's drone. A unit believed lost to currents shows a figure rising from green silt with a slowness that feels punitive, like something the world forgot to bury properly. Hair drifts like rotted kelp. Skin slopes in dark sheets. The face hangs in a quiet that feels colder than any depth reading. When the creature turns, its jaw shifts, music sideways, revealing a structure scientists claimed should not exist. Yet the drone caught every detail, as if the ocean wanted proof on camera this time. It stares upward, not confused, but aware, as though measuring the surface it once belonged to. If decay can move with purpose, what else have we mistaken for the dead? And the next video breaks an even older boundary, the glass swimmers. The strangest part of the 20 to 20 deep habitat test wasn't the pressure alarm, but the moment the exterior lens filmed silhouettes rising, as if answering a call no one sent. Bodies glide past the dome. Hands tap the glass. Tails flick like neon blades slicing cold water. Then one figure presses forward. Skin patterned in symmetrical ridges, as if scientists had scanned a blueprint of an organism the ocean never meant on camera. And its eyes flare with a human irritation. The kind fishermen caught on only in rumors whispered between storms, as though we had trespassed on a world that doesn't forget intrusions. If creatures can gather like this without breaking formation, what else coordinates music in the dark, where no one believed life existed? Something deeper approaches next. Shoreline breather. This footage, filmed by a jogger in 2022, starts with an unease that creeps in and slowly. The kind no one notices until the camera steadies on a shape lying half in water, half on wood. A fin jerks sideways. A pale hand grips the dock. The torso lifts with a choking tremor, as though caught between drowning and waking. Then its head rises, revealing skin too polished for any mammal, yet too reactive for a fish. And the lens filmed the exact second its eyes narrow in territorial alarm. A look fishermen caught only in fleeting river shadows that scientists scanned but never identified. Its body curls toward the intruder with a warning that feels frighteningly intentional, as if the world itself were reminding us that we've mistaken its silence for emptiness. When something both gasping and aware fixes its gaze on camera, which boundary, land, species, or certainty fractures first? The next recording emerges without mercy for our assumptions. The Breakwater Herald. The tourist boat video filmed at noon shows a pale figure rising behind the concrete ledge with an elegance no one expected from something emerging out of open water. The shoulders turn first, the gills pulse. A translucent fin snaps like a banner in windless air. Then the creature scans the shoreline with a focus that feels ceremonial, recalling descriptions from the Babylonian Apkallu myths. Hybrid guardians said to surface only when human arrogance disturbs the balance of knowledge. For one charged instant, biology and folklore fuse on camera. The silhouette matches the ancient reliefs with a precision that left scientists shocked, their scanned overlays aligning far too cleanly to dismiss as coincidence. The footage caught on something that seems less like an animal and more like a reminder. A herald waiting to be acknowledged by a world that forgets too easily. If a being once carved into stone now rises at the edge of our cities, what other warnings have already reached us unnoticed? The next evidence doesn't rise. It lunges. Deckside rebellion. The fishermen filmed this winter haul expecting nothing more dramatic than a net of cod. Yet the moment the creature hits the deck, the footage spirals into chaos. Ice skitters. Men shout. The torso twists with a terrifying torque. Every movement too deliberate to be an animal, simply panicking. Its limbs churn against the metal floor, bending in angles that no one believed possible. And the camera caught on its face a ferocity that feels almost accusatory, as if the world itself had dragged up a being unwilling to be measured or owned. Scientists later scanned its musculature and still found no evolutionary path that explains its strength or precision, leaving only more questions than answers. When a living organism fights like someone escaping the wrong realm, what responsibility do we bear for forcing it into ours? And the next footage abandons even the illusion of control. The deck escape. The crew said it happened so fast, they barely registered the splash, which is exactly why the footage filmed on the rear deck matters more than their memory. A long muscular form launches upward, arms clawing at the air, as if pushing against a force no one else could feel. The tail slams onto the metal floor, leaving a smear of salt water that spreads like a warning. When the creature twists, the camera catches on the ridged spine and sharp elbows, movements too controlled to belong to any struggling fish. Scientists later scanned the frames and were shocked to see joint articulation closer to a primate than a marine species. No one believed something this agile could come from open water. Yet, here it is, lifting itself almost far enough to reach the crew before sliding back over the edge. Call it instinct or strategy. But nothing jumps like that unless it wants out. And the next video shows exactly why. The storm deck capture. The footage begins in harsh wind, the kind that drowns out every sound except the thud of bodies hitting wet wood. 3 fishermen are pulling something onto the deck, a shape heavier than a shark, but moving with the precision of a person. Its skin gleams gray-white, smooth in some areas and rough in others. And when its head lifts, the camera catches on 2 dark eyes that lock onto the lens. The mouth opens, not randomly, but in what looks like an attempt to vocalize. Scientists later scanned the film sequence and were shocked to see coordinated facial movement, something no one expected from an unknown marine creature. The arms thrash with alarming strength, bending at joints shaped too much like elbows. Fishermen caught strange things before, but never anything that reacted as if it understood restraint, as if it knew it had been taken. No one believed this footage at first, until the creature snaps the rope as easily as tearing claw. If this is what storms hide, the world has been looking in the wrong direction. The net of echoes. The recording opens with a fisherman complaining about the weight of his net, unaware he is seconds away from showing the world something no legend prepared it for. When the mass inside rolls forward, the camera filmed the full shape. A long body, pale ridges along its back, and a tail that lashes against the mesh like it recognizes captivity. Scientists scan the footage later and notice patterns carved into the skin. Spiral motifs strikingly similar to those described in Celtic accounts of the Femerans. Ancient sea spirits said to rise before coastal upheavals. No one believes such stories, but the ridges match too closely to dismiss. The creature thrashes, not wildly, but rhythmically, as if trying to break the net at its strongest point. Fishermen caught blurry shapes like this for decades. Yet, nothing this clear was ever captured on camera. And when its mouth opens, revealing 3 rows of teeth angled backward, the deck erupts in panic. Call them myths if you want. This one didn't seem bothered by the title, the whole struggle. The moment this clip starts, the boat's already shaking from the creature's impact. 3 people hold the net, yet the being inside shifts with the power of something far larger than its frame suggests. The camera filmed its tail first, a wide, rose-cold fin slamming against the floor in bursts that echo across the deck. Fisher caught many unknown species here, but none fought with this level of coordination. When its torso rolls, a hand slips free, 5 fingers webbed, strong enough to dent the aluminum railing. Scientists scanned the footage and were shocked by the bone structure. Every joint bends with eerie precision, closer to a primate than anything marine. No one believed the crew's story until the footage circulated worldwide. The creature twists again, eyes briefly visible through the net. Focused, not panicked, not confused, focused. And that look delivers one clear message. It wasn't trying to escape the boat. It was trying to escape what was coming next. The siren pulled aboard. The footage begins mid-aru with the crew shouting about something tangled in their troll line. When the camera turns, the world sees the moment 3 fishermen drag a pale-scaled figure across the deck. A body long enough to sweep half the floor with its tail. Its ribs move sharply with each breath, too controlled to be reflex. And when it arches upward, the throat expands in a pattern. Scientists later scanned and confirmed resembles low-frequency vocalization chambers. The hands claw the air, webbed and long, gripping at anything within reach. Fishermen caught sharks, rays, even oarfish, but nothing that stared back with awareness. No one believed their audio until the video confirmed the creature's mouth, forming shapes too precise to be random. The tail slams again, cracking against metal, spraying water in arcs that hit the lens. Every movement feels intentional, almost rehearsed, as if this wasn't its first time fighting its way onto a human vessel. And the expression it makes in the final second suggests it knows exactly what humans do with rare catches. The breath of the drowned gods. This recording starts with unnatural quiet. No shouting, no panic, just the soft scrape of boots as one fisherman kneels beside the creature lying on the deck. Its torso is elongated, rib-lined like an ancient carving, and its mouth opens in a silent scream that seems to vibrate through the air. Scientists who later scanned the footage notice gill structures identical to those depicted in Baltic folklore, describing the drowned gods being said to surface only when territorial borders underwater have been breached. No one believed such stories until this creature lifted its arm with deliberate slowness, fingers long enough to wrap around a man's wrist. Fishermen caught glimpses of similar silhouettes during storms, but none filmed something this clear on camera. The creature twists suddenly, tail smearing red water across the deck, its muscles rippling in controlled patterns that mimic defensive ritual rather than panic. And when its eyes snap open, black, reflective, steady, it feels less like an animal awakening and more like something evaluating its captors. Call it legend, myth, warning. Whatever name you choose won't change how it looked at them. The deck that wouldn't hold. From the first frame, the boat looks too small for what's thrashing across it. The creature's tail strikes hard enough to make the hull resonate, sending vibrations through the camera audio. Its body is slick with rainwater and seawater mixed together, stretching almost the full width of the deck. When 2 fishermen try pinning its arms, the creature twists with a torque impossible for a human skeleton, revealing joints designed for pressure far deeper than any diver could survive. Scientists who scanned the film sequence later were shocked to find musculature arranged in interlocking layers, similar to deep-sea cephalopods, yet attached to a humanoid frame. Fishermen caught countless oddities over the years, but nothing that fought with this calculated rhythm. Bend, twist, strike, repeat, as if performing a practice maneuver. No one believed the force of its movements until the footage showed a tail slap denting the floor panels. And if a small boat can barely contain it, Imagine what else might be swimming just out of sight. The struggle that shouldn't have happened. Nobody on that deck ever truly believed the net could restrain something of that magnitude. Yet, the world still reacts with disbelief every time footage like this emerges. The creature's tail crashes against the metal boards with a force so sharp, the entire vessel seems to shudder. The mesh clamps against its scales, stretching to the point where each rope fiber feels moments away from snapping. Its body writhes in a frantic burst of terror, an instinctive, desperate motion that fishermen later admitted felt too aware to ignore. And when the spotlight drags itself along that trembling blue spine, revealing muscles firing in absolute panic, the moment stops resembling a scientific milestone. Instead, it becomes something darker, an act the ocean was unwillingly made to witness. Some recordings linger not because they horrify you, but because you slowly realize you are watching suffering unfold from the very side that caused it. The presence beneath Tacoma. The recording was captured at 2:14 a.m. on March 9th, 2025, inside the waterlogged maintenance corridor beneath Tacoma's industrial port. At the exact moment, a repair team hauled up what they assumed was nothing more than a swollen carp tangled in refuse. But its jaw snapped shut with a brittle clack like metal striking bone. Its limbs thrash in sharp, panicked arcs, scraping against gloves as though human contact sears its skin. Its torso bends and coils, not with raw power, but with a desperate fear disturbingly close to something we recognize. And when its throat shudders, releasing a broken, guttural moan eerily similar to legends of Melusine or the drowned maidens of Baltic lore, it drags the mind toward a question our species avoids, because the answer could reshape what we believe about ourselves. If a creature buried this deep still remembers fear, then what else lurking below still remembers us? Stay close. What comes next is footage that never should have resurfaced. The body they feared. Who could have imagined a specimen like this lying unnervingly still beneath a sterile glow of laboratory lamps, while every scientist present tried to hide the fear creeping across their faces as the cameras kept rolling? Its skin flinches the instant a gloved hand brushes along its spine. Its ribs contract subtly, as though refusing the blade about to enter. Its fingers twitch in a staggered, unnatural cadence, like leftover reflexes from a world no researcher has ever documented. And when the first incision reveals a slick lattice of cartilage, disturbingly reminiscent of ancient depictions of the drowned-up Q creatures, old texts insisted humanity had erased from memory. The technicians glance at one another with an expression far from academic interest. E.T. is guilt. It is the dread of realizing they have uncovered a secret never meant for human observation. Because if this corpse recoils at pain, then what recoils when it no longer lies still? Follow closely. Our next footage overturns everything we thought we understood. The net that refused to break. No one on that icy deck could comprehend how a creature so enormous could contort with the raw terror of something small and wounded. The moment the Tware's emergency camera captured it, the net strains to its breaking point as the creature's torso twists violently, slamming the deck with a heavy water-soaked thud that echoes like distant thunder. Its tail snaps through the air, flinging Sea Eater upward in shards that glitter like shattered glass. A trembling pulse rises from its throat. A vibration so primal, it sends every fisherman staggering backward, gripping the rail as if the sea itself had turned against them. And when the spotlight sweeps across its metallic, convulsing skin, jerking, resisting, refusing to be overpowered, those who later watched the leaked footage realize this moment was never a victory. It was a warning etched into flesh. Some footage terrifies not because of what appears on screen, but because of what it stops from happening next. The siren they drove into a corner. Long before the clip exploded across the internet, researchers were already stunned by how sharply the creature's silhouette appeared. Its shaking arms, its ragged breaths, its palpable terror. While fishermen fought to pin it against the rain-slicked aluminum deck, the being arches backward into an impossible curve, releasing a harsh rasp that feels torn from both its lungs and some ancient instinct. Its scales flicker with soft, shifting colors, glowing like bioluminescence in distress. And in the brief instant, its face tilts upward, soaked in storm water, It mirrors the stone etchings of sirens from Old Norse coastal legends. Creatures said to strike back when their territories were violated. The world didn't argue about whether the footage was authentic. It argued about whether humanity had finally crossed a line the ocean would never absolve. Some boundaries once breached change you long before you realize you can't go back. Maybe these encounters aren't warnings, but invitations to finally admit how little we understand of the water surrounding us. Every creature caught on camera tonight, every scream the ocean swallowed, points to a truth no one is ready to confront. The world keeps insisting these beings can't exist. Yet the footage refuses to cooperate. And if this is what rises into our nets, what remains hidden below is far more terrifying. Stay curious, stay uneasy, and if you want to see what surfaces next, subscribe, because the deepest secrets never appear twice.